Where do I even begin? It was early Baisakh when I was back home and I spent a good chunk of time reflecting upon myself. A few projects were keeping me busy, and there was this constant social media which kept me distracted. Towards the start of the third semester, I felt like I was doing fairly well. Going to the campus was something I looked forward to every day. However, with my ineptitude to say no to some stuff and procrastination, the routine felt somewhat hectic. I had so many things to do but was barely getting them done properly. Then Shravan started with something new. I got to be one of the hosts for the Freshers Welcome program, which seemed unsettling as it was my first time. It did not go flawlessly, but it was fun. After over a year, it finally felt like we were getting to know each other well in class. Speaking of class, I was doing okay, but with my minimal input outside of class, this was surely not going to end well. By this time, the day of serving practicals had become my favorite day of the week. Getting precise results was difficult sometimes. There were rainy days. There were days spent burnt in the sun, but still, I loved everything about it. Especially our little lunch break when we sat, shared our snacks, and loosened up. In the background, assignments had already started to pile up. My negligence was showing. I needed a hard kick on my head to get my senses back, which I eventually got in a good way. But with how things were going, I knew it would not be the last one. While the days were beautiful, it did not feel so bright. Then started two of the most stressful months I have ever had. It was all smiles and laughter in the beginning as we had our geology field visit to Maliku. But after that was over, it was all a struggle. Having to submit its report 2 days after that, all the practical classes of fluid mechanics and strength of materials crammed up in 1 week, and writing their reports was no joke. Days of surveying were fun, but preparing the report, that was the exact opposite of what fun was. I was writing my surveying report instead of studying for the test even 5 minutes before the test. I had put myself in a bad spot. The third semester was another flop. I worked hard but blindly and also encountered some hiccups. Thank goodness we had a long break after the stressful months we had. I wanted to bring some positive changes in me during that break, so I started the 30-day study challenge, which was actually really rewarding on my part. Besides the challenge itself, making those break vlogs was something that I very much enjoyed. As the holiday was coming to an end in Karthik, I was excited for the fourth semester. But early on, there were times when I felt I did not even know myself. Lots of stuff, including how I did in the third semester, bothered me. For clarity, I set some basic goals for the next 6 months. N for November and N equals new beginning. So that was my theme for the month. Then out of the blue, I got to go on a hike with some old friends. It was not the last one as we went on a few more later in the year. By Mangzir, the fourth semester had already started. It finally felt like I was focusing well in the classes. Taking part in the cricket tournament and going on to lose again felt like deja vu. Along with surveying days, something that I was relishing about this semester was doing building drawing assignments and listening to radwimps. Finally, I was becoming a little better at setting priorities, but throughout course, procrastination seemed to be a constant. The same month we had our second geology field visit. There were hurdles similar to the past during this semester, but I was prepared this time around, so I was more composed. With time, I have learned that we should rather take failures as lessons and opportunities than literal failures. Somebody does not believe in you, prove them wrong. Always try to be the best version of yourself. Stay strong and keep pushing, but pause when you need it. But like the previous semester, after the field visit was over, it was one big load after another. The last 2 months passed away in a blink. I can only remember it being full of assignments, tests, and exams, and me trying my best to stay focused. This year taught me that there are times you fall down bad, but you should not let that keep you down. Instead, you need to get up stronger and plow through. Embrace the good moments as they won't always come. Push through hard times as they won't always persist.